Hey everybody, do you know what an opra is? No. Not that kind of opera. This kind of opera. Well, if you answered no to that question, then you are in the right place, because today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what an opra is, but more importantly, why you need to request one if you're thinking of purchasing any kind of property. So stay tuned. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dawn Colicchio from Remax Diamond Realtors right here in Central New Jersey. In one of my videos about underground oil tanks, I touched on an opra report very briefly. So if you didn't see that video, make sure that you click the link at some point during this video and watch that one too. OPRA stands for Open Public Records Act. And basically what it is it's a report that you can request that is going to give you a ton of information on the property you're buying. So let's break it down so we can go over why it's important and exactly what it's going to tell you. Most of the time here in the state of New Jersey, when somebody lists their property for sale, they fill out what's called a seller's disclosure. It is a ton of questions asking them basic knowledge about their home. When was it built? How old is the roof? How old is the hot water heater, the furnace? And they fill that out to the best of their knowledge. So the one thing that an opra request will do is it will verify some of the things in that report. So let's say the seller's disclosure says that the roof was put on in 2007. Okay, well, in the state of New Jersey, in most towns, you need a permit to put on a roof. So the opra report should show that there was a permit taken out for a roof in 2007. So do you see how you can kind of cross-check the dates and the years so that you basically know that the actual year that's on the seller's disclosure isn't a guesstimate, but it's pretty accurate? There are typically a ton of things, home improvements, that require permits, whether it be plumbing, electrical, building. So it's really helpful to know if those things were done with permits, because what'll happen is if it kind of got missed or went under the radar, eventually it's going to come out in most towns when they apply for the certificate of occupancy. But at that point, your closing may get delayed. You might have to extend your mortgage lock rate, so that's all going to cost you money and time. So do you see how some of this information might be really helpful? There are two other things that I like to request when I'm applying for an opra for my client. One is assessments. Are there any assessments coming due? Now let's face it, when we buy a house, we assume that the taxes are going to go up from year to year to year. But it would be nice to know if there's a tax assessment scheduled for this year, the year that I'm buying. Like I said, you can't change the fact that the town is going to be doing an assessment and probably raising your taxes, but knowledge is power and it's good to know. The other thing that I think a lot of people overlook is deed restrictions. So, for example, if I'm buying a house down the shore and my view is the ocean, a lot of times there are deed restrictions that maybe you cannot put a second floor on, because obviously people bought those houses for the view, so the town has put a deed restriction that you cannot put a second level on so it doesn't, block somebody's view of the beautiful ocean. The other thing is vehicles. A lot of towns have deed restrictions about parking work vehicles on the property. I think probably the most common is like a landscaper's trailer. So a lot of times you have to take into consideration that you won't be able to park those vehicles at your property, and that you might need to rent a space somewhere in town to keep that vehicle. That's something you need to know, because it's an additional expense to you if you have that type of vehicle. So now you might want to know, okay, Dawn, how much does it cost for me to request an opra report? And also, where do I do this? How do I do this? It's usually very simple. You can go down to the municipal building in the town you're purchasing, fill out a form, and hand it in. Usually it takes about, I would say, 7 to 14 days to get the report back, depending upon how busy they are. And most of the time they do not charge you for it, as long as they are able to email you the report, so they don't have any cost as far as printing and also postage for mailing it to you. If you are nervous about filling out the form or knowing what questions to ask on the form, ask your realtor to do it for you. I know I do mine all the time for my clients. It's just easier. I know what to ask. I know what I'm looking for, but most realtors will have no problem doing that for you. It's just one of the services that we offer our clients as real estate professionals. I know this video focused on ordering or requesting an opra report if you're purchasing a property, but I do want to tell you, it is really, really good to request an opra report if you're selling your property. Reason being is a lot of times people have lived in their home for 20 plus years. And I will go on a listing appointment, I'll sit down with them and we're talking and I'll say, okay, so was anything done without permits? And they look at you like, I don't think so. Okay, so did you do a roof, furnace, central, fence? And they go, I don't think so, Dawn. It's been so long. I don't think I have. I think I did everything with permits. Well, guess what? A lot of times, we don't remember. So it's always good to request an opra report, even if you're selling, just so you know what might come up and what you might need a permit for moving forward. So again, we don't delay the closing, so it doesn't cost you money. It doesn't cost you a potential buyer that might walk away. Now we don't have to guess anymore. Now we know if anything was done without a permit, so we could be proactive, go down to the town prior to getting a buyer, file for the permit, have the inspector come out, and make sure that everything is done and ready to roll when we do get that buyer. So listen, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I appreciate you guys. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.